What's up, guys? This is RG giving you another High Dimension broadcast. Here we are on the Gold Auction House, and I want to show you guys a Demon Hunter gearing tutorial and how to play the auction house correctly. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put up on your screen now the desired stats that you need for the Demon Hunter, and it's really easy, guys. You really need to look for critical hit chance. You really need to look for critical hit damage. You really need to look for attack speed, and of course, you need to look for high dexterity. Now my gloves have 3 of the desired stats that we need on the Demon Hunter. If we can get critical hit damage on my gloves, then that would be even better. Another thing you want to look for is just really high dexterity. If you can't get any of those stats on them, you want to get at least one stat. And if you could pick one stat, you would probably go for critical hit chance. You want to go for a really high dexterity with a high critical hit chance, the highest you can possibly get on each item. And the items that actually carry these 4 stats are gloves, rings, and your amulet. And certain legendaries like this Endel's Visage actually have attack speed on them. Also, helmets actually carry crit hit chance, as well as bracers. You can also get critical hit damage on your weapon, as well as a socket, which is going to carry another critical hit damage with a green gem inside there. Something very important to look out for on your quiver is critical hit chance, as well as high discipline. And you can get also hatred regeneration. And the maximum attack speed you can actually get on your quiver is 20%, and it comes from the legendary quivers of I think it's called Dead Man's Legacy, and the other ones like Black Bone Arrows. As for your boots, you would definitely need your high movement speed on your boots. Very important to have high movement speed on boots. You can also have high dexterity. The belt and the shoulders are very similar in the fact that they can't carry any of those stats, and they need to just have high dexterity. And you can also get high vitality if you'd like, or high resistances. But the most important thing really on the shoulders and the belt is going high dexterity. As I talked to you about, the quiver is the same as your chest. Very important to have high discipline on your chest and your quiver, as the chest, quiver, and one-handed crossbows are the only ones that can actually have high discipline on them. Maximum is actually 10. Now, that's pretty much it for the gearing section, guys. That's what you definitely want to look for in gear. Now, I want to show you guys how to effectively search for that type of gear in the auction house. Now let's go ahead and look for your armor. You definitely want to look for a really high glove, and something like a high dexterity on a glove is 200. My gloves actually have 260 on them, and that base dexterity is going to boost your DPS by a huge amount, as one dexterity is 1% damage. So let's go ahead and look for critical hit chance on this, as critical hit chance is one of the most important, and 10 is actually the highest you can get on gloves. So something with over 200 dexterity with high crit chance on gloves is very important. Now the first thing about auction housing is you definitely want to look in your time left. Time left is a very big factor in buying items for me, and should be for you, as if you see 1 day 11 hours, then you definitely want to look at that item first, because you're going to be the one first looking at that item, or it's been put up within the hour. Now if you see 1 day 12 hours, that means it's been put up within a couple seconds, and you're really the first person or one of the first people to look at that item, and it could be a really good snipe. And what I mean by a snipe is you need to go and snipe an item if it's really low and really good, and it's just way underpriced. Even if you don't need the item and it's at 1 day 12 hours and it's a really good price for it, just buy it anyways, and you can resell it, because that's a really good way to make money. Now sometimes you don't want to put a base number of 200 in here. Sometimes you want to just go 180, because there could be something that's 180 for like a million less, and it's only 20 dex. I mean, it is 20 dex is kind of a good amount, but look at that. I just put 180 in there, and now it's going to 500,000 instead. But again, don't always look at the time left, as if you don't look at the time left, then you probably won't be able to resell that item for the same price. 1 day 10 hours is still a pretty good price for that. So This one, decently geared. Now, as you can see, I don't have a third quality here. You definitely want to put a third quality if you want to go for, say, vitality or something higher than that. Don't you? I mean, you don't need to. You kind of just you really need high dex and a good amount of crit chance. Now you want to go ahead and this is the max, so I wanted to show you guys the max there. Now you can actually put 7.5, and 7.5 is a good amount on your gloves. So you definitely want to go ahead and have your options open and look at all the actual item or gloves that you can possibly look at with a decent amount of stats. Now I'm going through here, and as you can see, there's 16 pages of items like this that have that type of stat on it. So you want to look at the time left, and again, it's very important to look at the time left because you can actually snipe an item by bidding on it, and it'll be very easy to do that. You definitely want to look at how many hours left on it because you don't want to be sitting here for 9 hours. You can also set an alarm on your phone or something, an alarm device that's going to be able to remind you that you need to come check the auction. Also, if it's at a low bid, like say this 84,000, you can bid on this item, and you can come back to it in your auctions here, and it'll say you got outbid, but it's okay because you can now track the item in your bids here, and then refresh it by going from your sell to your auctions. It'll refresh the actual amount that's there, but it sometimes bugs. Another thing I wanted to show you guys, as I showed you on that screen, is you can bid here, and if the current bid is not what your max bid shows here, that means somebody has already bid on the item, meaning that it's already worth that 84,000 to someone out there that has already bid that on it. So if you win this bid, then it's going to be at least resellable for that much price if you try to resell it instantly, as the economy changes and it might not be worth that much later. You definitely want to go ahead and look at the auction house and see exactly what you're looking for. If you're going for high dexterity, high crit chance, and you see an auction that's instantly going down for like in less than 1 minute, or say 4 hours like this one is, you definitely want to keep an eye on that one. Now it does have 225 dexterity on it with a crit hit chance of 9.5. It does not have attack speed like on my gloves, so my gloves are actually better than those. And I actually bought these gloves maybe a couple patches ago for like 5 million, when 5 million was worth like 20 million now. So it's the prices have so much inflated because of all those gold farmers and people buying up all the gold for real money and all that stuff. So this is an auction you definitely want to look at right here, guys. If you don't have any gloves that have crit hit chance on it, you just have like dex gloves, something like this would be a very good steal. 300,000. Remember, guys, we saw a gloves up there for that was like 200 dex with plus 10 crit on it, and it was going for like 500,000, and they were magic gloves. Now these have vitality and resistances on them, so you'd want to be able to snipe those. And as you can see, somebody is already looking at that, so you definitely want to keep an eye on that for 47 minutes. Or you can, like I said, put a alarm on and have them come back for that later, as that is a probably better tactic, because if you actually bid on this now, then the person that actually bid this is going to get their money back. And say they only had like 500,000, right? So that means that they have 200,000 waiting for them, like 230,000 just sitting there in their bank. And say you only have 400,000, right? So you want to be like, set your alarm and then come back here, because if you bid on it now for that 400,000, then they get that 372,000 that they put into the bid, and now they're at 500,000. So that means when it's their turn to bid again, they're going to outbid you, and you can't bid back. The best way to actually win a bid and snipe a bid on this is set your alarm for, like, say it's 47 minutes here, but you want to refresh that. So you can go back and forward, and it says 45 now. So that means that you refreshed it. That means that it's 45 minutes left on it. So you're gonna set your alarm for 43 minutes. So you have 2 minutes to get yourself settled, logged in, ready to go, all your gold, and sit on this auction. So that means that when it hits, less than 1 minute, so it'll say 1 minute here when it's ready. Then you can refresh it again, like by going backwards and forwards on this, and it'll refresh just like it did there, and it'll say 1 minute left. And then you can go ahead and backwards and forwards again, and it'll refresh to less than 1 minute. And then what you need to do is count to 30, so 30 seconds, and then go ahead and bid your 400,000 or however much you can bid on it. that means that the person has literally like 5 to 10 seconds to actually go to the auction house, collect their money, or go to their completed tab, collect their money, come back to the auction, and then bid on it to outbid you. And you definitely want to have it in 30 seconds because there is a certain lag window where you can't bid within like 1 second of it. You definitely don't want to get your bid in right before it goes in. I've done this many times and it does work like a charm, so definitely want to follow that guide there and be able to snipe items that way. It's very effective, and people that actually have been looking at their auctions like, oh, no one else is bidding me, I'm gonna win this, and then at the last second you bid in, because if they know that you're interested in the item, then they're gonna probably try to go farm up more or ask for money from their friends so they can outbid you by double your amount. So that's a way to actually get bids that way. Now, a way to filter out all this stuff is even though you don't have like 20 million, 1 2 3 1 2 3, so you could just put 20 and then 1 2 3 1 2 3, and then that'll be 20 million. You can actually look at a buyout prices. So there is a dexterity glove right here that's going for really cheap for 20,000 here. Very good, but at the same time you don't want to buy something that you can buy something better for just like an extra 10 mil. So I mean 10,000. So you want to definitely look at something, always looking at the time left on it. So take a look at that. Very cheap glove here. It's only 7.5 though. Remember, the ones that we look for is 9. So let's go ahead and put 9 in there, and this is a way you can filter out and see how much it's actually worth for a 9. So yeah, you can see that's 9.5 magics. Magic items really won't sell back very often, but if you are just trying to go for straight DPS, magic items are efficient and very cheap, rather than something like this that's pretty much the same thing, or even worse even. So it's 182 and 9 crit. This one's 183 and 9.5 crit. So this one's actually better than the 350,000 one here, as this intellect and strength isn't going to do anything for you as a demon hunter. This magic item would be actually even better for you to buy if you were going to go ahead and buy this. The only thing is like, oh, it's pretty color. It's really not going to help you at all. 310 armor on this, 319 armor in this, really has only strength and intellect that's giving for it, and it also, this one has one more dexterity as well as 0.5% crit, which is a huge amount, even though people don't think so. It actually is really high. So yeah, or actually wait, yeah, 9.5, right? I said 9.5. Yeah, it was good. So yeah, so the other magic item is much better. So yeah, if you wanted to buy something like that, you definitely want to look at the price. Also, as you can see, the time left on it is really winding down, and you only really want to buy items that are like 1 day, 10 hours, or more than that. So you're always looking at these items 1 day, 11 hours. As you can see, this one has 9.5, also has a 198, but now it's going up to the millions, okay? So you want to be very wary of that. Now let's go ahead and keep these stats in here, and we'll keep an eye on how much that what this 1 day 11 hours costed. It costed about 1.3 million. Now let's go ahead and try to add a secondary stat like attack speed in there. Nothing found for even 20 million here. Let's go ahead and lower our crit chance to 7.5, and then keep the attack speed in there, because the attack speed is going to give you a high amount of DPS. You can also go to crit hit damage also. So again, looking at the 1 day 11 hours. Now something like this will be better than just the flat crit, but it's really 4,700,000. It's not going to be that much higher DPS than the flat crit one, as the flat crit one had like 9.5, remember, and you could get it for like 79,000 or something really insanely cheap like that. So if you wanted to gear your demon hunter insanely cheaply, you definitely want to go for high crit high crit chance increase, as well as high dexterity, just base dexterity. Now something like let's say shoulders and belts, the ones that don't have high crit chance, you just want to go for really high dexterity. So anything like 180 and higher is going to be really good. Even this right here is going to be good, and it does sell for a huge amount of money here. And this is the point where you want to go ahead and take out your max buyout, as if you have a max buyout there, you can't see bids. So you want to go ahead and try to bid on something like this, and you can put in a low bid here so you can track this one. As you know that this is going to go higher than 121,000. It's probably going to go for something like 500,000 or something like that. But it's not going to go for something huge because it doesn't only have dexterity on it. So you want to be very wary of that. Looking around for bids. Also look for something that's going for time left is lower than 1 day. A couple hours is probably the best way to go. This one is going for 3 million now, but bids don't go by the bid price. It goes just by whatever. It's just random. So, excuse me, it's very early in the morning for me. So, looking at these shoulders, you definitely want to look for a high vitality on it or resistances, as you might as well have a secondary stat that helps you out. So something like this 7 Sins or anything with vitality on it would be good. You can even put vitality in there if you like. If you could get more than 100 vitality, that would be amazing. And as you can see, the lowest, even if it's magic, is going for 12 million. So you want to be very cautious of that. As you can see, my shoulders are pretty good for now, but let's go ahead and go for 150, okay? And let's double check if we can't snipe something really quickly here. And I might just snipe something for one of my friends. So this one's going for 1 million. It's 150 dexterity, 122 vitality. Now, as you can see, there are some up there that are about the same, and you want to look for now armor. So if there's an armor that's higher than that, vitality with dexterity with armor, that's good. But yeah, if you wanted to, you could actually snipe this for one of your friends, or whatever, or for yourself even, and it would be really nice. Now let's just double check. If you don't want to care about vitality, you're gonna get one shot anyways. You don't have any vitality on any of your other pieces, and you never want to go vitality. Now you can go ahead and go 150 dexterity and put your buyout price at like 10 million. Even though you don't have 10 million, again, it'll let you just look at the auction, the buyout options instantly, and the 1 day 11 hour buyout options instantly. So you want to double check the 1 day 11 hours. As you can see, I highlighted them there. This one's 157 dexterity with 52 vitality. This one has 75 vitality, so this would be a decently good buy. This one has 56 vitality with a negative level requirement on it, which is not very good. I mean, unless it's negative 18, then it would be amazing. But something like this would be a decent buy for you if you didn't really care how much vitality it had on it. Also, you can just take out the vitality in total. You don't have to have any vitality on it, and just go ahead and search for that. Now, as you can see, this one has is going for 80k, much cheaper without any vitality on it. As you can just snipe an item like that. It would be wise to get this if you don't want to go any vitality at all. So yeah, definitely look out for those deals, guys. You definitely want to have a high dex on pretty much all of your gear. Now, something for to look forward to for chest and for quiver. I'm gonna go ahead and show you that now. I'm also gonna show you a way to get a decently good weapon without a high, super high price. So we'll go ahead and look at offhands for now, and then we'll go to quiver. Now, something that's very important is critical hit damage. Now, you want to have dexterity on here, and you want to have say at least 70 dexterity, or even you could put it at 50. But very important to have on your quiver is high crit chance, and that critical hit chance needs to be at least 7. So let's go ahead and put our critical hit chance in here, and let's put at least 7. Also, max discipline is very important, and you want to have at least 7 or 8 max discipline on that quiver. So let's go ahead and put those stats in and look at buyout prices here. So something like this is a very good starting out item for your Demon Hunter. It is very cheap, as you can see on here. It has only 7 crit on it, and it is going to be a decently good quiver. As you can see, my quiver is very similar to this one. But if you wanted to go higher in crit, you can actually go all the way to 8.5, and it'll skyrocket in price as you go all the way up to 8.5. It went from something like 10k to like 600k. So something like that. 8.5 crit chance it's really not that important, so you can go ahead and leave that at 7, that is, and try to actually up your dexterity instead of your critical hit chance. Now, if you go all the way up to 150 dexterity, of course it's gonna up in price. So let's go ahead and go to 100 and see what kind of prices we're looking at. Now, 600k is a decent amount for a bow. You don't want to, a quiver, that is. You don't want to spend too much on your quiver, as your bow is going to be much more important. So let's go ahead and just go take that back down to 50. And as you can see, you want to look for a decently good quiver that's just going to supplement your bow. 7.5 is probably better. You also want to look at that attack speed, hit it at least to 15. So 15% increased attack speed, you can't actually look for it in this, but something like that with high discipline, or at least good discipline. 9 is good. You can actually look for 10 here and see what kind of prices those are yielding. 80k for this one, and it does have a socket in it, so that's going to be higher, as well as magic find on that. You probably want to up your dexterity at this point. You can look just like this, just kind of like inch your way along, getting higher and higher in stats depending on what your gold is looking like. Now, something that is very important in this game is DPS, and using a two-handed crossbow is very important, as it will give you a higher DPS. If you want to go for a higher survivability, then you want to go one-handed crossbow, as it will give you that plus 10 discipline that no other weapon actually can hold on it. Now, very important to have is either a socket or has crit hit damage on it, as the crossbow, two-handed crossbows, it's going to be based off of crit hit damage, as the archery actually gives you 50% crit hit damage on it. You cannot actually get crit hit chance on the bow. So right now, you kind of want to look for just has sockets. You want to take out your maximum buyout if you don't want to buy out something instantly, but if you want to just check as you're on the auction house really quickly, then you go by DPS, and then you look at time left. That's the way you would do it, so you can get your quick buyout. Now, this 8 million crossbow right here is decently good. It actually has a socket in it. It also has a high DPS on it, so you want to look out for that. So look out for these deals, guys. Again, has sockets is very important on that. You can also, instead of looking for has sockets, do crit hit damage right here, and it's going to be able to yield that same type of bow that you're looking for. Ideally, you always want to go for DPS in bows. Looking for the time left, you're always looking for that. Kind of searching for that 1 day 11 hours, as those bows that are 1 day 11 hours are going to be able to yield a good bow that hasn't been looked at by everybody already, and hasn't been passed over by everybody like, oh, that's not worth it. Now, this is a good DPS bow for a good decent price, and if you're looking for something really cheaper than that, you're not going to get very much cheaper than 4 million or something for a decently good bow. What you can do is just look for has sockets and keep refreshing like this, and look for the DPS. Now, has sockets bows do go for a high amount, as everyone knows that you can put a crit damage gem inside that and have it be really good. Always look at the time left on it and the DPS. Something around like 900 or 1000 DPS is going to be decently good, and it's going to have a socket in it. And for all you guys that are looking for a bow, that need a bow that's two-handed with a socket, and it's around 900 DPS, well, let's look quickly at max buyout price. Let's say you only have like 2 million to spend, and let's see what kind of bow you can actually yield. Now, right down here, it's like 1000 DPS, pretty good. This one has a socket in it. You definitely want to look at the secondary stats though on the bow as well. If you can yield dex or something that's plus damage as well, then that's even better. You can also yield plus critical hit damage increase as well as having a socket, so you can have 100% critical hit damage increase with a socket, and then your gem that goes in there is 100% critical hit damage increase. So that's amazing. This right here is a pretty good bow. It has that percent chance bleed on it, so that's going to be pretty decently good on that. You want to keep looking around for a 1 day 11 hour steal, and that's the way you're definitely going to want to go with this. Now let's go ahead and look for 1 million. And remember guys, the highest DPS we had here for 2 million is 10.5 or 1.05, whatever the fuck. 1051 DPS. Now let's go ahead and look for a million, so you can put that 6 zeros in there. And again, like 1 million isn't that much lower, so let's go ahead and go for 500,000. And again, it doesn't go too much lower either, so you can get a decently good bow for 500,000. As these are magic bows, they're probably they're not as good as the rare bows that have dexterity as well as another secondary stat on it, but you can get a decently good bow for like something like 500,000, even 400,000. You can actually get a 1000 DPS bow. Let's go ahead and go down to 200,000, and it goes down to 986. So not too bad. You can actually get a 900 or so DPS crossbow for that much. But let's go ahead and look at the one-handed hand crossbows and see what happens here. So for 200,000, you can get a one-handed crossbow that's going to be a high attack speed. Also, you want to look for you can go for has sockets, but you really want to go for has discipline, as if you're going for a one-handed crossbow, you want to have that discipline on it. That's going to pretty much save you in those situations. You definitely want to have at least 7 discipline on it. Now, as you can see, a 200,000 crossbow with a max discipline on it, not too expensive there. If you can get a socket on that or with dexterity, then that would be even better. So let's go ahead and filter out and see with dexterity. Now that drops all the way down to 882. That's one with dexterity on it, but it is still going to give you a high damage, as the dexterity will increase your damage by a lot, especially if it's 128 like that one is. There's another one here, 192, that's going to increase your damage by a lot, as well as having a lot of survivability with that maximum discipline. So yeah guys, I want to go ahead and show you real quickly the chest armors you're supposed to be looking for with a low buyout. You want to have a max discipline of 7, and what you're really looking for is a 3-socketed with high dexterity. So let's go ahead and put in 200 dexterity in this, and let's see what kind of things we're looking at. So right here, this is a type of a type of armor that is really good, is really not too expensive, and is like almost comparable to what I have on right now, or it is comparable, that is. So it is a good armor. You can actually buy it for a pretty cheap price. Also look at the bid prices, as this one's going for 34 minutes. You want to check that out, as it does have a high discipline on it, max discipline in fact, and high armor, as well as having 3 sockets with dexterity in it, which can actually be upped really high to I think like 52 in the max. So you want to look at those guys, and yeah, that's what you want to look for. Again, Natalia Shadow is probably the best way you can go with this. If you can get 4-piece Natalias, that is the way to go. If you want to go really high, gold. If you have a huge amount of gold or a huge amount of money, then you want to go 4-piece Natalia set with the very highest stats in them. If you can get a cloak with over 70 dexterity and vitality with this, and over 8 maximum discipline, then it's going to be the way to go. amazing set, and as you know, they've increased the maximum discipline regeneration to 2 per second, or they increased discipline regeneration to 2 per second from the last patch, and it was a huge buff, and that's how Demon Hunters got their huge amount of survivability. I'm actually looking for a Natalia set right now, but I'm thinking I really don't need it for PvE, and I'm thinking they might change it for PvP, or they might switch it around and it won't be retrospective, so I don't want to buy it now and then have a better Natalia set come later. So for right now, I would suggest don't buy too much of those crazy unique items that might get replaced later. Get the items that you just need to complete the endgame PvE for the moment, or the endgame content, as the endgame content hasn't changed, and I don't think will change for for a couple patches. You definitely want to be able to complete the endgame content, or be able to save up for PvP content coming in the future. So I hope that helped you all in your search for items and your quest to become a good demon hunter. I hope that also helped you with your auction house filtering. And if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave it down in the comments. If you like this video, definitely like it and thumbs up if you can. Also, if you're looking at this straight off of YouTube, please check out my channel. It is has a lot of info you might like and want to check out. Also subscribe if you guys can, that would really help it out. And as always, thank you all for watching, and take it easy. Peace.